Welcome to the Vol Bros, presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And tough weekend for Tennessee athletics. Obviously, Friday night was a real success. Tremendous evening. Always a successful season if you make it to the Elite Eight. Tennessee's been there 3 straight times. That's incredible. First time ever in, well, certainly first time ever in program history that they've been 3 straight years. Season overall resounding success. Today was brutal. Ruston, what were your thoughts about what you saw today?
If there's a team in the NCAA tournament better than Michigan right now, I don't know who they are. That Michigan team executes an insanely high level. They do a really good job. They got early whistles, which really helped them. And we struggled to shoot the ball. Some of that was them getting us out of our comfort zone. Some of that was us just not executing. I watched that game and I walked away from it going, it's not a consolation prize, but this university has made it to 4 Elite Eights in the history of the school. 3 of them are the last 3 years. When Rick Barnes was hired, the knock on him was he wasn't good in March. Well, he's taken us to 3 more Elite Eights in the last 3 years than the entirety of the coaching profession in all previous years combined. And he's done it the right way. I saw a graphic today where somebody made a collage of all of the guys who have played for Barnes who are either currently in pro ball in the NBA, the G League, or one of the European leagues. And it's an insane graphic. I mean, when you see the development and the guys he's produced, but I think the thing that stands out to me more than anything is the entire university is proud of every guy that's on that list. Not because they've made it professionally, but because they're just really, really good people. And in a society and in a time where teams are selling their soul for wins and people are doing some just insanely unethical things, Rick Barnes is doing things the right way. He's recruiting the right people. And as far as I'm concerned, he can stay as long as he wants. And I will just say this, just kind of to sum up my thoughts. I have seen people online tonight making statements like Rick Barnes has to go. He can never win the big one. Our ceiling is the Elite Eight. Okay. For those listening, if you know anyone who is making those statements, disown them. They are stupid. And they are making you dumber every second that you're around them. That is the absolute most asinine, insane comments I've ever heard. And anyone who would make the statement, our ceiling is the Elite Eight, knows absolutely nothing about basketball. We have made it to the Elite Eight 3 years in a row. Ask Florida how that might feel. Ask Houston how that might feel. Everybody a week ago was talking about Todd Golden might be one of the greatest coaches of all time. Did he make it to the Elite Eight this year? Nope. Houston, Kelvin Sampson's one of the best coaches in America. They didn't make it to the Elite Eight. Kansas, Bill Self does a fantastic job. They're not in the Elite Eight. That man has done everything humanly possible. And the other thing I'll add to this, at the beginning of this season, you're looking at a roster that had Felix Okpara returning with major minutes, JP Estrella returning with a massive injury and hardly played at all last year, Cade Phillips returning with next to no minutes last year, Bishop Boswell returning with next to no minutes last year, and we're in the Elite Eight. That man, I would argue this year might have been his best coaching job ever. He assembled a roster that he knew could gel and could come together. They developed Bishop, JP, Felix, Cade. If Cade hadn't gotten injured, Cade would have been a major part of this.
Oh,
They
for sure.
they developed guys that everybody else was looking at going, he's probably a good role player. And they turned them into big time players. And I saw a tweet today, and I can't put my hands on it again. I should have bookmarked it to save it. But when you look at this roster, and I know why Rick's coming back next year, he's looking at this roster. Amari Evans returns. Bishop Boswell returns. Clarence Masamba returns. When we saw the growth of Bishop Boswell from year 1 to year 2, I am ecstatic to see what they do with Clarence Masamba because he's way more athletic than Bishop. Dwayne Brown returns. Cade Phillips returns. JP Estrella returns. Jalen Carey returns. Troy Henderson returns. Ethan Berg returns. And then they've got two big-time talents in Manny Green and Ralph Scott coming in. All they really have to do, like all the pieces are there. All they really have to do is go get one big-time shooter in the portal, and we're going to be right back here again next year. And not saying it's him, but Justin Gainey gets the NC State job. Kim English is currently unemployed. His best player was his shooting guard, who averaged over 20 a game this year, who is currently in the transfer portal. Just saying.
I would love it if they get at least one, if not two shooters. That would be wonderful.
Well, they've got guys coming. I mean, Ralph Scott's a
I
big.
understand.
Ralph Scott's a big time player. He'll be in the McDonald's All American game. He's a 6'6", 6'7", with a good measurement, maybe even 6'8", wing who can fill it up. Look at Bishop Boswell. Look at the growth from last year to this year.
He had a great tournament.
He's going to take another step. He's going to be even better next year. Troy Henderson, think about him from this year to next year. What's he going to be? The growth of Ethan Berg this year. Like, he can step into a major role next year. He's just going to get better and better. Amari Evans. I mean, that's a guy that at the beginning of the year we were like, hey, he's pretty good. He might be able to give us 5 or 6 minutes a night to the end of the year. That dude's got to play.
Yeah.
And then you got your entire post game returning. Other than Felix, but Cade can replace him. So, I'm looking at this roster and going, there's no reason we have to take a step back next year. We could be really, really good next year.
Losing Jacoby hurts bad. They got to find somebody who can score like he can. Like you say, who can shoot the ball like he can.
I think it's going to be different. This year they run a lot of isolation stuff for Jacoby and Nate. Next year, I think we're going to be, especially if we can get that shooter, and whether it's the kid from Providence or somebody else, if we can find one consistent knockdown shooter, we're not going to be a team that's going to have, okay, Jacoby's got 20, Nate's got 18. We're going to have 6 guys with 12, and it's going to be dispersed. And they're going to come at you from every angle, which honestly, from my perspective, that's the last team I want to play against. The team that you can't game plan for because anybody can score double figures every night. Those are tough assignments.
So here's my take on the game today. It's really pretty simple. Sometimes you just play a team that's better than you. Unfortunately, this morning, Ginger's uncle and I were talking about it, and he was feeling really good about it. If you had asked me my opinion, I would have said, I just hope we keep it to single digits because I didn't think we could beat them. I was just hoping it wasn't like a 12 or 15 point win for them. Boy, was I wrong. I was hoping we keep it to single digits. If we had a chance with 2 minutes left in the game, I was going to be happy. Well, unfortunately, in the first half, and we tweeted this out during the game, we had a scoring drought of 3 minutes and 2 seconds, and then another scoring drought of 5 minutes and 48 seconds. And then we finished the half on a scoring drought of 1:42. We didn't score in the last minute 42. So 10 minutes and 32 seconds of the first half. So over half of the first half, we did not put the ball in the basket at all. You can't do that and expect to win any game in Division I basketball, much less an Elite Eight game against the second best team in the country, who looks like the best team in the country right now. So what's crazy to think about is this. We scored 26 points in the first half by only scoring in less than half of the half. That means we were on pace to score 52 points in the first half if we had actually scored in the other half of the first half. Yeah. So when you only score out of 9 minutes and 28 seconds of the first half, it is difficult to win any game, much less a game in the Elite Eight. Well, unfortunately, in order for them to come back in the second half, you go into halftime, you're down by 22 points? Yeah, 48-26. We're down by 22 points at halftime. Has there ever been a situation where a team came back from 20 points down in the Final Four? Yeah, there has been, actually. And so was it possible? Yes. But in order for that to happen, you have to win the first 5 minutes of the second half. Before you get to that first media timeout at the under 16 mark, before you get there, you've got to at least chop that lead down to, 14 points, 13 or 14 points. And you just chip away at it. Rick Barnes said that coming out of his interview at halftime. They mentioned that when they were talking with Evan Washburn on the air. Rick had told Evan that coming out of halftime. You chip away at it. So coming out of halftime, you have to have at least, knock that lead down to 14 points. And then you're in it. You're in it. You can come back at that point. Well, we lost the game in the first 5 minutes of the second half because we did not come out and chip away. They actually came out and extended their lead. They hit the first 2 or 3 threes they took in the second half. That's where the game was ultimately lost right there. There was still a chance at halftime. There really was. There was still a chance. But not when you come out and you lose the first 5 minutes of the second half like we did. So that was I'm incredibly proud of the team for how far they got. Incredibly proud of them. It's just unfortunate that it had to be this way. I mean, all season long, they've had these spells where they go on these scoring droughts. It's happened all year. Happens every few games, it felt like. And we hadn't had one of those in a while, which is why we're in the Elite Eight. And unfortunately, stats or odds caught up with us, and it happened today. And that's just really unfortunate. But the officiating was atrocious for both teams. Both teams could be incredibly frustrated by the officiating. But I think really the momentum swung really hard for Michigan when there was a play in the first half. Felix picked up his third foul, and there was a goaltending on Michigan that they didn't call. So they scored, and Felix picked up his third foul. it was a tough play for Tennessee, and from that moment forward, it went downhill in a hurry. But like I said, you just can't only score for less than half of the first half. And it still boggles my mind. We scored 26 points and we didn't even score in half of the first half. So they were on pace to really score 52 if they had just actually kept scoring the way they were. But oh well, I tell you what, that when Bishop hit that first three of the game and we were up 3-0, I was like, oh yeah, here we go. And then it did not keep going. Came out of that media timeout 14-all, and from that point forward, it was rough. But to your point, things are looking up certainly for next year. Hopefully, they can bring in one or two shooters, and we're right back in the Elite Eight again next year. That's the hope. Let's see some of the comments that came through. Matt, welcome, buddy. Good to have you with us. K-Train, welcome, man. Glad you're with us. Mississippi Vols said good evening. Hit the like and subscribe button. I think it's excellent advice. He's a wise man. Listen to Mississippi Vol. K-Train said this season was 100% a success, but I wish we had went out much better. Yeah, I 100% agree. Totally agree. Sanjay, glad you're with us, man. Nolan, sorry we were apparently a minute late. That's my fault, I guess. Matt said it was a success when we made it to the Sweet 16. So anything past that is just icing on the cake. Yeah, I agree with that. Richard, welcome, buddy, from Phoenix. Richard's in Phoenix tonight. Where in the world is Richard Grindstaff? Tonight it is Phoenix. Hopefully you're on your way home. I still love our Vols too, man. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. He said, hello, Evan and Ruston chat family. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Don't forget to tell your mom and them about the Vol Bros. I think it's great advice. Nolan said this team really did overachieve, especially with Nate being injured the last 5 or 6 games. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a really good point. And Nate played really, really well, especially against Iowa State. Sanjay said, I hate UConn so much. Also, I think Arizona is better than Michigan. Yeah, I was going to show the tournament updated standings, so I guess I'll go ahead and do that now.
Well, that Michigan-Arizona Final Four game, that's the real national championship. Whoever wins that thing is winning it all.
I totally agree. So let me share the screen. Here's the updated Vol Bros Bracket Challenge standings. My buddy Lance Harmon, who picked Illinois to win it all, is currently in the lead. Kevin Solomon, Reese Schwabish, and Ruston are tied for second.
Yeah, but I'm done.
Ruston's national champ went down today, so that's going to hurt his chances of gaining any ground here. Brian Moore is in 5th place. Matthew Pigg is in 6th place, but his national champion just got beat tonight, so it's going to take a hit a little bit. And then I'm in 7th place. But really, this column right here, the max column, that's the one that matters. So this is the amount of points still potentially that each of these people could get to. Lance is currently at 930 points. He has a max of 1,570, though. Kevin Solomon has a max of 1,510. And then everybody else is like 1,350. Rustin's 1,030. Brian's 1,340. Matthews is 1,000. Mine's 1,310. So really, here's what's going to happen. If Illinois wins the whole thing, Lance is going to win. If Arizona wins the whole thing, Kevin Solomon's going to win. If Michigan wins the whole thing, Brian Moore's going to win. That's really what it boils down to. So no UConn picks in here in the top 10. Let's see if anybody down here picked UConn. Yeah, nobody picked UConn to win it all. So really essentially three people left with a chance to win it all. I'd be curious to see. Yeah, it looks like Reese, some of his final 4 picks must have been eliminated, which is why his max is only 1,350. So really, it's going to be Lance, Kevin, or Brian Moore. One of the three of them are going to win it all. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out. Let's see here. Some of the other comments that came through. Okay, Train said, "How about that UConn buzzer beater?" Nolan said Michigan shot 37% from three, 50% from the field, and Tennessee shot 19% from three, 35% from the field. You just can't win with that. That is accurate. Absolutely. K-Train said that little scuffle was all in Michigan. Evans didn't say a word, and Carey just took up for his teammate. Yeah, I mean, that's yeah, I get that. I was proud of Amari Evans. He didn't back down from the dude and didn't say a word. I was proud of him. Elijah, welcome, buddy. He said, anyone thinking Barnes needs to go is absolutely insane. Correct. Yep. That is a correct take right there. Rick said, or Matt said he loves Rick. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. Rhonda, welcome, Rhonda. Good to have you. She said, go Vols always. Today was a gut punch, but the sun will be coming up in the morning. The season was a roller coaster ride, but we made the Elite Eight. Not too shabby. Totally agree. 100%. Jonathan said, I knew we weren't going to win today, but I was hoping it would be a close game. Honestly, thought making the Elite Eight was a long shot this season with this roster. And they did it. They sure did. Backflip Spaghetti said, this hurts, fellas. Please tell me I'm not the only one that noticed the crazy amount of whistles in the first half compared to earlier tournament games. So, I mean, that was what was crazy about the first 6 minutes of the game. Like that, what was it, Nala or what was the big dudes for Michigan? What's his name?
Mara
or something like that, whatever. That guy, I mean, he had 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes, but he really had about 5, and they just only called 2. Of course, we had several fouls that they didn't call either, and then we had some fouls that they called that shouldn't have been called. I mean, it was crazy. There was no consistency in the whistles. I think both teams could have had a legit, gripe with the officiating. Elijah said Rick can stay until he decides he revived a dead program. Absolutely. He's the greatest basketball coach in Tennessee basketball history, and I don't even think that's debatable. Nolan said, how many DUIs do Rick Barnes players have? How many speeding tickets? How many domestic violence charges? 0. We have 0 character issues, and that directly reflects your program's values and your head coach. That's a phenomenal point. You're exactly right. Yes, you're exactly right.
Well, and the few times that something like that has happened, they gone. Look, he does not. There is no tolerance. You make a mistake, you do something. They go over their team rules, and you violate team rules, you're out.
Yep. Elijah made a great point here. Elijah said it doesn't help that in the 3 years we did make it to the Elite Eight, we had to go against Zach Edey, Kelvin Sampson's best Houston team, and a machine in Michigan. Just unluck of the draw, if you would say. Yeah, that's a fantastic point. You're exactly right. We've had to play some really, really tough matchups. Let's see. Stingray's with us. Welcome, buddy. Good to have you. Elijah, this is actually a really, really good point as well. Elijah's on fire tonight. He certified ball knower here, Elijah. He is on fire. He said, no shade to Bishop, but making the Elite Eight with him as the main wing defender is a coaching masterclass. I would say this, making the Elite Eight with him as the shooting guard is a coaching masterclass. Now, to his credit, he shot the ball much better during the tournament. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Backflip Spaghetti said the portal's stacked right now. I hope we can pull some studs. John,
I think we probably only signed one. I don't, unless somebody decides to leave. I think Rick really likes this roster. I think he likes the guys he's got coming back. I think he likes the kind of makeup of the team. Like I say, I think they're just one shooter away. So I think, and again, his former primary assistant, Kim English, just got fired at Providence, and his best shooter, who averaged over 20 a game this year, entered the portal. Like it's a marriage made in heaven. Like if Justin Gainey takes the NC State job, Kim English walks right back into his former role and brings one of the best shooters in the country with him. Sounds good to me.
And lest we forget this, I didn't think about it till just now, but there is a very good shooter sitting on the bench right now in Troy Henderson.
Yeah.
And so, with more minutes for him, think about the jump he'll make from freshman to sophomore year.
And again, Ralph Scott coming in. I'm telling you, that dude can fill it up.
So, it'll be they do have a shooter sitting over there waiting to get his minutes. That's for sure. Jonathan said, if you look on the internet, it appears some Vol fans don't understand sports or don't watch sports, but the Vol Bros fam, we know and understand sports. That's right. I love y'all, man. It's a joy talking with you guys because y'all are logical, wise folks. So that comment on here, and I appreciate that. Matt said, I'm glad Mr. Barnes said he's coming back. I hope he recruits more offensive-minded players this year and trains them to be better on defense. Yeah, I mean, we got some dudes coming, that's for sure. Elijah said, next year has a chance to be really special. Go to the portal and get a true point guard and true center. I'm talking 7-foot shot block and post player. The roster could be stacked.
They're not going to sign a post player unless somebody leaves. They've got 4 returning. They didn't even sign a post player in the recruiting class because they knew they had 4 returning. Remember this name. Remember this name. And as a true freshman this year, he averaged 16 points a game, shot 40% from 3. Stefan Vox, he's from Estonia. He was Providence's leading scorer this year as a true freshman. We have a long history of doing very, very well. Or Rick Barnes has a long history of doing very, very well with European players. The fact that Kim English is currently unemployed, his best player who he recruited is in the portal, and Justin Gainey is the front runner for the NC State job. It's a little too coincidental.
K-Train said, do y'all think Illinois can beat UConn, and do y'all think Arizona can beat Michigan? Yes and yes. I mean, Arizona. I agree with Ruston. Whoever wins the Arizona-Michigan game is going to be the national champion. But yeah. Do I think UConn will win? Yes, I do. We'll see what happens. Arizona, Michigan is the championship game, though, in my opinion. Nolan said, I'm excited to see Dwayne Brown, Amari Evans, and Bishop develop more next year because those guys look great this year. Totally agree. Backflip Spaghetti said, I'd be shocked if Michigan doesn't win it all. Yeah, I mean, they're looking like the best team in the country right now. Nolan said, do y'all think Henderson will pan out? Is it just injury or something else? Oh, no, he's going to be legit. He got hurt, shoulder injury. That's why he didn't play very much the last few games.
He's been playing the last few games with an injury that most people would have just called it quits and had surgery. And he's just been doping it up and playing through it. And, I mean, he is badly injured. And as soon as the season's over, he will have surgery on his shoulder.
Elijah said Amari Evans could be an all-SEC type player next year. That dude's fun to watch. I love watching him play the game because he plays hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
K-Train said, think about how good Dwayne Brown and Amari Evans can be next year. They're stars in the making. Totally agree. Jonathan said Brown is going to be a beast next season. I don't know how teams can handle him next year. Matt asked a baseball question. Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's see. Backflip Spaghetti asked, did the Lady Vols win? They did. Let's see. Elijah said, I really think the play that changed the game was the no call offensive goaltend when Yaxel got the and one. Got Felix his third foul and gave them every bit of momentum that a team can get. Hey, that's what I said too. How about that? Well, I didn't even know he posted that on there, but he said it right before I did, apparently. That's cool. Great minds, Elijah. Great minds. I totally agree with you. I think that was the. I mean, it was never the same after that. Tin Cup asked if did the girls lose it. They did. The Lady Vols lost the series, but they did win today. Let's see. Rhonda said we couldn't get in any type of rhythm or anything with all the fouls. Nolan said, do you all think we'll ever see another team like that 2018 team where we have offensive threats at nearly every position? Maybe next year if they develop.
I think if we get the right guy at shooting guard or the 3 in the portal, we could have that next year.
Rhonda said, at least we got further than Florida. With the Go Vols, baby, channel emoji. That's what I'm talking about. Backville Spaghetti said today's game had more calls than the whole tournament in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. I've never seen a team get in the bonus with over 10 minutes left in the first half. That was crazy. The first half alone lasted an hour and 10 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes for one half. Normally, the second half is already started at the hour and 10 minute mark. Unbelievable. I just say, yeah, big. There you go. Chris said, unless there's upsets early in the tournament, anyone you face in Elite Eight and upper final bosses, we aren't that type of program. Yeah, I mean, we just had one of those days where we had scoring droughts. It's absolutely. He said, but we were the last SEC team standing. That's right. James, welcome, buddy. He said, good evening, Vol Bros. Not a good weekend for Tennessee sports other than the Sweet 16 win. Softball loses the series against Ole Miss, first time since 2008. Baseball gets swept by a mediocre Vandy. Yeah, we'll talk about those in a minute. Elijah said, that's what's Arizona and Michigan do to teams. Make you think you have a chance for a little bit, then completely shut off the water on you. Seen it multiple times with both of them. Nolan said that 2018 team was the best team Barnes has had, and I'm not sure if we'll ever see a team that special again. Like the 2022 team was pretty good too, great too, but we just don't get it done. Jared said, are we grabbing a point guard in the portal, or is Bishop going to run point? I bet Bishop will run point.
I think Troy Henderson will.
He might. You're right. Yep.
It'll be Troy Henderson and Ethan Berg rotating at the point next year.
Chris said, hate losing to it, but we're a top 8 program. It's not bad. I remember the NIT days. Yeah, for sure, man. Mississippi Vols said, I agree with the sentiment. We ended up with a really good season, but I wish today's game had been more competitive. Yeah, no doubt, man. Totally agree. Tony said, Elander's not the right coach. Terrible coaching and playing this weekend. I think the jury's still out on Elander. That's just my personal opinion. It's only like, halfway through his first season ever as a head coach.
Yeah, let's give him more than 2 months.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is the best comment of the night.
When a Kevin O'Neill team broke 50, we threw a party.
Tin Cup said, NIT days, I was a fan when Kevin O'Neill was coaching. Oh, man, that's good. Okay, that's the best comment of the night.
I remember going to a clinic once with a friend of mine, and Kevin O'Neill was speaking. It was an NABC clinic. And Kevin O'Neill made the statement from the stage, our goal is to hold them to 40 or less every night. And the guy sitting next to me goes, and his other goal is to score 41.
Let's see. Oh, wait, hang on. Brent, welcome, buddy. Good to have you, man. Hey, Brent's the man. He's the GOAT. He said, hit the forecast button on your bracket challenge. I'll give you a % chance of winning. All right, let's do it. I'm going to put it back on the screen. Here's our bracket challenge. Group forecast. K-Tac dollar signs. That's Kevin Solomon. He's actually got the highest percent chance of winning at 26%. Lance is right behind him at 22.8. Mino Lackey, hey yo. How about that? She's currently ranked 10th, but she's got the third best percent chance to win it all. Wow. How about that? I have a 0% chance of winning it all. You have a 2.2%. So you're telling me there's a chance. I have a 0% chance of winning it all. Well, look at you, Mino Lackey. That's what I'm talking about. So essentially, one of these three people are going to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's pretty fascinating. All right, thanks, Brent. Appreciate you, buddy. Making our show better. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Backflip Spaghetti said, I think Nate comes back. I don't think he'll get the evaluation people think. Yeah, sorry, buddy. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Oklahoma City Thunder have already said that if he falls to their pick, they're taking him. I think they're either 8 or 9, something like that.
I mean, here's the bottom line. If you're a first-round draft pick, you're gone anyway. He has a chance of being a top 10 pick, but he's certainly not going to fall out of the first round. You can't pass that up. So he's gone. Rhonda said Barnes is coming back, he said after the game, but just wondering which way Danny White will look for the next head coach. Yeah, good question. I think Rick's going to be around for at least 2 or 3 more years, though.
Yeah, they'll do a national search. And Rick has built that job into one of the top 10 jobs in America. Everybody and their mom's going to want it. So they'll do a national search and they'll hire somebody high level.
Tony said, wasn't a surprise today. Michigan was the much better team. Good season. Yeah, totally agree. Matt said, didn't realize how much I needed y'all tonight. This is helping the pain. Hey, Matt, I'm curious, man. What'd you get at Tony's? I know you went there this weekend for your birthday. I hope you had a great birthday. Let me know what'd you get at Tony's. I'm curious. Let's see. Jonathan said, I want Nate Ament to come back, but I don't think he does. Yeah, he definitely won't. He ain't coming back. Let's see. Tony said, I'm hearing we'll have a few to leave and probably get 3 to 4 in the portal. I don't think anybody's going to leave in the portal. I could be wrong, but I hope I'm not.
I would be very surprised. The only reason somebody would leave is if another school just comes and makes them an NIL offer that we're just not willing to match.
Yeah.
This group's tight. They all understand that they've got a huge opportunity next year to all step into big roles. I don't see anybody leaving.
Jeff made a good point. I thought about this as well when I saw the game times. You're exactly right. He said not using it as an excuse, but they did stick it to us playing till after midnight Friday and coming back at 2 today. We should have had the late game, no doubt. You're 100% correct. From end of game in the wee hours of Saturday morning to playing early afternoon on Sunday, they had, I think it was like 36 hours between games, whereas most other teams had 48 hours. Yeah, you're exactly right. Jonathan said, I love seeing Barnes basically saying North Carolina State would be dumb not to hire Gainey. He said Barnes said Gainey loves NC State, and if they want to win, they should hire him. Mississippi Vols said, if Justin does go to NC State and if we could get Coach English back, I'd take that trade any day. Yep. Elijah say he thinks English will probably try to be a head coach somewhere else.
I'm not so sure about that. He's got some baggage now. And it's hard when you've been a head coach at a major school. It's hard to drop back to a mid-major. Like, it's almost easier to go be an assistant somewhere for a little while, kind of revamp your image, and then move on to a larger place. And Providence has been bad for him. That did not go well. It hurt him. He has a very bad head coaching image now, and he needs some good PR. So I don't see him being a head coach again for a while.
Jonathan asked if we want that Manolovich or whatever his name is guy from. I'm so good with names.
Milan Momcilovic.
Yeah, that guy. He said, would we want him from Iowa State next year? Yeah, if he'd come here, sign him up. I mean,
I'd love to have him, but that's not an option. He announced today that he's declaring for the NBA draft. He did not sign with an agent, though. He's just testing the draft status. But he already said if he doesn't like his draft grade, he's coming back to Iowa State. He already made that public. So he's not an option.
I mean, anytime you can get the best 3-point shooter in the country in the team, yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. But like it ain't gonna happen though. Let's see. Nolan said, one thing you can take from this year's run is we can say we were the 8th best team in the country if you ignore the regular season, and we were the best SEC team. Ignore the regular season. I mean, they made the Elite 8. That's a good year. I'm sorry. If your team ever makes the Elite 8, that is a good season.
For the third year in a row.
Yeah. Jeff said the officials let everybody play physical the whole tournament until this game. Just be consistent. Yeah. Well, I think there was stuff that they could have called that they didn't. And then there was stuff that they did call that they shouldn't have. I mean, it's tough for the players because they don't know what they can and can't do, Let's see. Rick Lee said, is Kevin O'Neill still coaching? I don't think so.
No, he's an analyst for Fox Sports. Calls a lot of, he's like the play or color guy, calls a lot of Midwest games.
Brent said, great show as always. Hey, we appreciate you, Brent. Thank you, buddy. Elijah said, Josh Shirts, please and thank you. We could have 3 Joshes as our coaching trio.
I understand the allure for Josh Shirts, and he was at Lincoln Memorial, so he likes Tennessee. He'll crawl over glass to get the job. But I just don't think he's going to be a big enough fish. And I'm not exaggerating when I say Rick Barnes has built the Tennessee job into one of the top 10 jobs in America. And there are sitting head coaches doing really, really well at other Power 4 schools right now who would leave in a heartbeat to take the Tennessee job. There are also analysts out there right now who would be very looking at you, Jay Wright, who would be very interested in the Tennessee job if it was available. So, they're going to have their pick. And I feel like Josh Shirts would be settling.
You think Jay Wright watches the Vol Bros?
I think Jay Wright watches all things Tennessee because I think Jay Wright is biding his time until Rick leaves, and then he's going to make it very known that he wants the Tennessee job.
Hey, Zay, shout out to you, man. We hope you're watching tonight. Let's see. I asked Matt what he got at Tony's. He said what you said, the chicken tetrazzini. Money. That's right, buddy. That is good stuff. It's so good. Let's see. Jonathan said he doesn't think anybody's going to transfer off the men's team. Stingray said, I couldn't believe some of the so-called fans on Tony Basilio's live stream after the game that wanted Barnes fired. Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. The man's the best coach in the history of our school.
By a lot.
Yeah.
It ain't close.
Let's see. James said, I think Caldwell needs another year, but if I was Danny, I'd give Carol Lawson a blank check after she beat LSU.
Another year could do wonders for a lot of things. So when they hired Kelly, Carol Lawson really wanted the job, but she burned some bridges with some people. And most of those people are gone now. So if another year with Kim doesn't work out, I think there could be a conversation with Carol Lawson. I think there will be enough time, enough separation from when other things happened previously, that she could finally be back on the table.
K-Train said, I remember, so he's talking about when Chris Dortch came on our show right before the season. He said, I remember Chris Dortch saying before the season he thought we would end up number 7 in the country, and we did. We need to tell him to tell us we'll end up number 1 next season. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, Chris nailed it. He nailed it. Let's see. Elijah said, then give me TJ Otts then.
Maybe.
Let's see.
I could see that as like a 4th choice.
Mississippi Vols 7, Kevin O'Neill was coaching. You could hear a pin drop in the stadium, in the arena. I like Elijah. Hey, Jay, love you. For Jay Wright. Oh man, we got to get Jay Wright to watch this somehow now. I don't know. Somebody tag him. Does he have a Twitter? I don't even know if he has a Twitter anymore. I know he used to, but I don't even know if he does anymore. So somebody's got to tag Jay and tell him to watch the Vol Bros tonight. Let's see. Chris said, I would kill for Jay Wright, but going by history, it's more likely they hire a Konzo or Kim Caldwell type hire.
No, this is going to be a totally different search. When they hired Kim Caldwell, and even when they hired Konzo, that was following a termination. This is going to follow an illustrious retirement. And anybody who thinks that Danny White won't lean on Rick Barnes to make this hire is crazy. Danny White respects Rick Barnes at the highest level, and Rick will be involved in who gets this job.
I mean, that's why he's got a lifetime contract, literally a lifetime contract.
Yeah.
Jonathan said, it sounds like Elander watches the Vol Bros with a new Friday night starter. Yeah, that's exactly right. This is a good question. This is a really good question. Elijah's on fire tonight, man. Elijah said, who would your number 1 not named Jay Wright be, Ruston?
Let me think about that for a second.
Okay. Paige, welcome, Paige. Good to have you. She said, keep being amazing, y'all. Number 1 fan right here. Hey, we appreciate that very much. Thank you. We hope you keep being amazing too. We're going to try our best to do the same. Thank you. We appreciate it. James said, Ruston, what's going on? Oh, hang on. That's a softball question. We're going to come back to that. Anything else about basketball before we move on to baseball and softball? Listen, here's the thing. After this moment in the show, the mood may shift some, okay? Because baseball and softball both had rough weekends, but I've got one positive thing to end the show with. That's a high note, and so we'll end on a good note. I'll put it that way. K-Train asked, "Would y'all hire Dusty May?" In a heartbeat.
Yeah, but that's not going to be an option. Michigan is one of the few schools out there that has the resources to counter any offer that we could make. So he's not going to be on the table.
That dude can flat out coach. The man took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. I mean, then he's now taken Michigan to a Final Four. I mean, the dude can flat out coach. FAU made it to the Final Four, didn't they? Or was it Elite Eight? I know it was at least the Elite Eight. I think they made a Final Four.
It was Final Four.
Yeah. I mean, the guy can flat out coach basketball. Jeff said O'Neill teams were so hard to watch. That memory is going to give me nightmares tonight. John said, I know today's game didn't go good, but I wouldn't mind a Barnes statue after he retires with everything he's done for this program. Yeah. I mean, you could definitely make it. Okay, my favorite thing about that though is I don't know if anybody else saw it, but somebody on Twitter, um, you know that photo of Rick Barnes in Hawaii when he's got the sunglasses on and the Hawaiian lei around his neck, you know? So somebody took that photo, put it in AI, and asked AI to turn it into a bronze statue. And so it's a bronze statue of Rick Barnes with the sunglasses on in the Hawaiian lei. It's amazing. He was like, build the statue now. It was fantastic. I loved it. All right. Well, let's turn our attention to baseball and softball.
So
And
let
go ahead.
me answer that question he asked earlier first, though.
Which one?
If it's not Jay Wright, who do you look at? I think you got to kick the tires on Brad Underwood because he is Rick Barnes. They're made from the same cloth. And Illinois can never match Tennessee's budget. For the same reason, I think you got to call Ben McCollum at Iowa. That guy has won in a large way everywhere he's been really, really fast. And possibly, depending on what the current situation is, possibly even Matt Painter at Purdue. Because again, as much money as Purdue pumps into their athletics, it pales in comparison to what Tennessee has. And if you can get Matt Painter to come because he's going to get a huge NIL deal with Adidas, those are conversations that have to be had. And I don't want this one, but I know the conversation will happen. Danny White will give Nate Oates an interview. They have a close relationship. Danny hired him at Buffalo. Nate Oates will get an interview. I don't want him. I think he's a train wreck. But if it were me, it's Jay Wright number one, and then probably Matt Painter, and then Brad Underwood and Ben McCollum.
Let's see here. Some of the other comments that came through, making sure we got everybody caught up. Elijah said, I would love McCollum, but I think he gets a bigger job by the time Rick retires. Yeah, I agree. He said, I like Brad and Painter, though.
But it's not about the size of the job. It's about the size of the budget. And all these coaches talk. They all know what their NIL budgets are. They all know what their assistant coach salary budgets are. And, Ben McCollum might get a slightly bigger job, but the thing that's going to work against him, most likely Billy Donovan's going to get the North Carolina job, which means Tommy Lloyd's going to stay put at Arizona. It'll be interesting to see who gets the Kansas job. That could very easily be Brad Underwood. So there may not be a job out there for Ben McCollum that makes sense to make a move for right now. So the timing might work out to where he is available when Rick retires.
Chris asked, was it foreshadowing by Barnes about Gainey if he doesn't get the NC State gig?
No, I think Coach Barnes legitimately wants him to get the job. Coach Barnes has always – Coach Barnes, if you'll remember, Coach Barnes pushed Kim English for the Providence job hard. Like, he was making phone calls left and right trying to get him that job. Coach Barnes believes if his assistants aren't getting hired other places, he's not doing a good job. So, I think he actively wants to help these guys.
All right, so James asked, Ruston, what's going on with Lady Vols softball? They were hitting the ball so well, and now it's like back to last year.
It's just softball. Same thing with baseball. Teams go through slumps. It happens. I was looking at the numbers. This weekend, they averaged 2 runs on 5 hits a game. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and if you look at the offensive production, that's all it comes down to. Slumps happen. And, just like hitting is contagious, not hitting is also contagious. And so all it's going to take is one good game where they all just really strike the ball well and find a bunch of barrels, and they'll just hit their way right out of it. It was funny. Somebody asked Karen Weekly today in the post-game press conference her thoughts on it, and she basically said exactly what I just said. She's like, it's just softball. They'll swing their way out of it. They'll be fine. Um, you know, I think the thing that I most appreciate about the softball team, and it's honestly my biggest issue with the baseball team right now, when you watch the softball team, they're competing. Like they are competing at a high level. They do not like the fact that they're in a hitting slump, and they're up there taking hacks. So they'll swing their way out of it. On the baseball side, my most concerning thing that I'm watching right now, I don't see a Drew Gilbert. I don't see an Evan Russell. Crap, I don't see a Jarrell Ortega. I don't see anybody in that dugout looking dudes in the eyes and saying, "Dadgummit, go make something happen." There is no sense of urgency on this baseball team, and that's concerning. You don't have to be rah-rah. Jordan Beck was not a rah-rah guy, but when it was a crucial situation, that's the dude you wanted to play because he played with a sense of urgency. Chase Dolander, sense of urgency. Chase Burns, like him or not, sense of urgency. That guy he wanted the ball. He was going to the mound with a purpose. I don't see any of those guys. I see a bunch of very laid back, very mild mannered, very content players. And, that's at times, that's a positive. It's good to have people that don't ride the emotional roller coaster. But at the same time, you got to know when to turn the switch on. And I don't see anybody in that dugout looking around and looking dudes in the eyes and saying, it's time to go. Wake up, let's roll. I see a bunch of people standing around chatting. And that's not going to be conducive to anything. And this team, I'll tell you what this team reminds me of, Vanderbilt last year. And what happened to Vanderbilt last year? They finished the season fairly highly ranked. They got to host a regional, and they got upset in their own regional. And it was a learning thing for them. They've responded. If you watch them play this year, they play with some fire. They're not great, but they get after you. And that sense of urgency right now is coming out in a way that is not good and is an underlying issue, not just offensively, but also pitching wise. Our defense has been great. I don't think we could ask more for our defense. But this weekend,
except for today, the third inning today was rough.
Well, but it's one inning out of an entire season. I mean, for the most part this year, the defense has been solid.
Yeah.
What hasn't been solid, and some of it, I'm going to chalk up some of it to Josh Reynolds not calling pitches for these guys before. He's getting a little too cute with his pitch calling. And this weekend, we gave up 14 free bases. I've said this stat on here before. In college baseball, 1 in every 3 free bases scores. That's the analytics. So if you gave up 14 in a 3-game series, essentially you're giving up, 4.5 a game. Well, if 1 in every 3 scores, that means you're giving up 1 to 2 runs a game off free bases. We lost all 3 games by 1 run. So if we just eliminate free bases, this weekend probably isn't 0-3. It's probably 3-0. And you can't this team has to come to realization of this. Number one, this conference is insanely talented. There are no letdowns anywhere. You don't get a free trip anywhere you play. Number two, they got to value every at bat, every pitch, every inning, and they've got to stop just coasting and play with a sense of urgency. And I don't see it. And so I don't know how they're going to rebound. One of two things is going to happen. Either somebody's going to step forward and become Evan Russell, Jarrell Ortega, whoever, fill in the blank. Kirby Cannell. Dudes who are in the dugout looking guys in the eye and saying, it's time to go. Either somebody's going to step forward and become that guy, and they're all of a sudden going to go on a streak and win a bunch of games, or they're going to keep doing this and they're going to get into the NCAA tournament because they'll finish with a decent schedule. They might even play their way into hosting a regional, but they're going to get upset by somebody they shouldn't, and the season's going to end early because they just don't play with passion. Whereas on the softball side, they're just going to swing their way out of this. They'll be fine because they play with guts. Those girls do not like this. They don't like what's happening right now, and they are fighting tooth and nail to get out of it. And when you watch their dugout and watch how they talk to each other, it's a very different vibe than the baseball program.
Well, to your point about free passes scoring, today in the bottom of the ninth, 15-10, they load the bases after a single and 2 walks. Both of those guys scored. So, I mean, that just backs up what you're saying there.
The grand slam happened after a hit by pitch. Braden Krenzel,
another free base.
Braden Krenzel plunked the bases loaded.
Yep, there's another, and that dude scored too. Brent said regarding softball, the Friday game was cold and windy. 2 balls would have been homers if not for the wind, in my honest opinion. And in 1-run games, those count, right? I mean, it's very, very important. Elijah agreed with you. There's no fight in the team and no leadership, but he said, do you think the baseball game today with all the hitting gets us back to kind of normal?
Depends on how they respond to the way it ended. I mean, I like I say, I don't like the body language I'm seeing in the dugout. I don't like the nonchalant. I mean, again, you don't want a bunch of pitchers who ride the emotional roller coaster, but you do need a couple of lunatics. I mean, you need some dudes that come in and they're like foaming at the mouth, and you're like, this guy's about to go after every hitter he sees. I thought at times Frank called too many fastballs, but dadgummit, Frank would not have been able. Frank would have been. These dudes would have walked home from Nashville this weekend with Frank if they had given up 14 free bases. Frank would have been livid, and all they would have done for the next week is pound the strike zone every day. He would have said, "I don't care about your arms. We're going to go throw strikes." And they all would have been on a mound every day pounding the strike zone until they learned that we don't walk people. So I think that's. So, and I've said this before, Josh Elander is not that guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's very balanced. He's very even. Somebody in that dugout, Ross Kivett, Josh Reynolds, somebody has got to become the bad guy and has got to be the one who's going to get in a few dudes' faces from time to time to make sure they understand. And I don't see anybody doing that.
Let's see some of the other comments that came through. Jonathan said, I'm starting to get slightly worried about softball. I still think they're national championship contenders. They are. But I hope they get back on track soon. Yeah, I agree.
They'll be fine.
They're certainly still national championship contenders. No doubt about that. Let's see. Mississippi Vols said, I have no clue how the LSU series will go, but I'm physically dreading the series at Mississippi State the following weekend. Jonathan said,
so you want to talk vibes? Watch that Mississippi State dugout because Brian Connor, that dude runs a program. And when I said when the season started, watch out for Mississippi State because they finally went and got a coach who can use the resources they have to get them back to what they used to be. And watch that dugout on that series. Watch how they talk to each other. Watch how they interact. That's a high accountability dugout.
Jonathan said the 3-game baseball series almost turned into a 4-game series. That's true. 16-inning game. He said this baseball team doesn't have the talent they've had in the previous years. Plus, Elander's still learning. I think they'll be fine.
Technically, if you look at the analytics, technically this is one of the most talented teams they've ever had. I just don't see any passion.
Matt said we need a bad cop coaching us in the baseball program. Let's see. Dayton, glad you're with us, buddy. Intentionally not going to put your comments on the screen. Let's see. Chris said Tony Vitello is getting killed up in San Fran by the press. Feels like a Spurrier with the Redskins kind of deal. I could see him back in college baseball next season or two. Yeah, potentially. Let's see. John said either we don't have the talent we previously had, or it's because they're young and still learning the game. Elijah said on a different note, Hope Stone is okay. Yeah, so just so everybody knows what Elijah's talking about, Stone Lawless was taken to the hospital after getting hit in the face, and Tennessee's Department of Communications is so open and transparent about injuries in particular. That's sarcasm font, in case anybody was wondering. All they said about Stone was that he was at the hospital for a facial injury. That was it.
So, so after the game, Elander said that he was at the hospital still. He was alert and coherent, and that they were checking out his orbital bone because it got him right in the orbital socket.
Well, Elander's about to get called on the carpet by somebody in the communications department because that is way too much information for Tennessee athletics to be sharing about something. I'm surprised they didn't say, even though people could clearly see he got hit in the face, I'm surprised they weren't like, it's a lower body injury.
Now, hopefully that orbital bone's not broken, because if it is, he's going to be out for a long time. He can't.
He's done. Yeah.
When they repair that, you can't have any contact of any kind. So, no catching, no helmet with a chin guard. Like, he's going to be out for a long time if that orbital bone's broken.
Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if he's back before the season's over. I mean, maybe in June, maybe. But I mean, it's already almost essentially April. Like, April is what? Wednesday? Is Wednesday April 1st? I think it's Wednesday.
The 4th is Saturday, so yeah, probably so.
So I mean, if they make it to Omaha, which I mean, I think that's ambitious. If we're just hoping for a regional or super regional, well, that's the end of May. So 2 months, you're already past the super regionals, or at the super regionals. I mean, he might be done for the season if that's the case. I just hope the dude's okay. Like, I agree with Elijah. I mean, I just hope he's okay. Let's see. Dayton's talking about Josh Heupel for some reason. Close on the spelling. Close. If Heupel has 2 more bad seasons, he's gone. Well, yeah, all of All Nation would agree with you, buddy. He might be gone if he has 1 more bad season. Let's see here. If he wins 7 games or less this year, he may be gone. Let's see here. Nolan said, "Can we go get Gary Buzz? Put him in the bullpen just for vibes." Let's see. John said, Elander will learn the Tennessee standard of injury reports. It's just his first season. Next season, he would have said Stone had broke toe. That's exactly right. Well said, Jonathan. Yeah, he gave way too much information for a Tennessee athletic representative to be giving people. I'm surprised, no joke, like in all seriousness, I'm surprised they didn't say it's an upper body injury. Well, yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, he gave way too much information for the likings of Tennessee. Matt said he was rocked. Stone was concussed, broken nose, at least from what I saw. Let's see. All right. Anything else you'd like to say about? Oh, wait. Chris Guy had a question. He said, "If is it possible if Gainey doesn't get the NC State job, could Gainey end up being Rick Barnes' replacement in the future?"
No. This job will not be filled by a young head coach. This job will be filled by Again,
Or
top
first-time
10
head coach.
program in America.
Yeah. It won't be a first-time head coach either.
No.
I think Danny's learning the error of his ways with even a first-time Division I head coach, or not even that, because Kim was a Division I head coach before that at Marshall. All right, so last thing for the night, we're going to end the night on a positive note. Shout out to Tennessee men's and women's swim and dive teams. The hard-hitting news here, I just had to end it on a good note. Swim and dive, both men's and women's teams, both teams finished at the national championship trials, or whatever they're called nationally. I'm so good at swim and dive commentary.
The national championship meet.
Yeah, there you go. They finished. Elijah said, "Oh yeah, I love swimming." Both teams finished 5th in the nation. They finished the year each, which is kind of wild that they both finished at the same spot. But both teams finished 5th in the nation. So you got to figure when you get to the national champion. I mean, essentially, it's the national championship meet is what they were at, and there's probably like at least 8 schools there, probably more, and our school finished 5th in both men's and women's, so that's pretty good. Shout out to the swim and dive team. Go Vols, baby. Let's see. Nolan said, I think Tennessee's learned by going with Lane, Dooley, Butch, and Pruitt, not to go with unproven coaches or young coaches. Let's hope so. Yeah, Rhonda just said the exact same thing. So, Ruston, any other thoughts before we sign off for the evening?
Nope.
Whoa, James, check out James busting out the swim and dive stats on us here. I love it. He said Virginia women's swim and dive team has won the Natty 6 years in a row. That's incredible. Do you think
Virginia Swim is basically a feeder program for the Olympic team?
Do you think they're going to call for the head coach's job whenever the first year that they don't win it? like gets to year 7 and they come in second and they're like, fire everybody, fire Mark Nagy, fires office, fire everybody, tweet.
They'll hire the assistant.
Nolan said, great show, boys. Hey, we appreciate you, Nolan. Thank you, buddy. Brent, nice stat here. He said also swept in baseball this weekend. Texas, Georgia, and Alabama. That is a good stat right there.
Yeah. It was a wild weekend. Kentucky and I don't know if you saw it, LSU and Kentucky's head coaches almost got in a fist fight on the field and had to be restrained by the umpires.
Oh, fun times. Yeah. Wait, you're saying LSU has a coach that may not be morally upstanding in an athletic sport?
Well, actually, Kentucky's pitching coach started it because they were very blunt. Like it wasn't hard to read lips. It was very blunt what was being said.
I'm still in LSU hired Will Wade again. Like after the man literally got fired. Did you hear what he said when he pulls up to the arena? I guess it was in the SUV that picked him up from the airport. And one of the first things he says is when reporters are talking to me, he said, "Yeah, we're going to try to pay much better attention to the rules this time." I'm like, what? The dude is laughing and cracking jokes about getting fired because he cheated so much. And the NCAA got onto him. That's the dude that unbelievable.
Did you go to when you were in high school, did you go to team camp at Clemson?
Yes.
Okay. So the year we went there, did I ever tell you what Will Wade said about Dwight Howard?
No.
So the year we went there, Oliver Purnell was the head coach. his director of basketball ops and director of recruiting was Will Wade. And Dwight Howard was, what year was that for you? Was that your junior or senior year?
Senior, summer before my senior year.
Okay. So Dwight Howard would have been, I guess, a senior that year as well, and was trying to figure out where he was going to go to college or if he was going to go pro. And for whatever reason, Will and I hit it off. And we used to sit, we stayed in the dorms we stayed in a hotel, but some of the teams were staying in the dorms. And all the coaches got paid for bringing their teams. So I was kind of the point of contact and was communicating with Will because he was running the camp. And we were sitting there one day. Do you remember Dwight Howard was at that camp? Greater Atlanta Christian played, and he was there. And Oliver Purnell was trying to recruit him. We were sitting at the hotel one night, or at the dorm, I can't remember which, and Will Wade said to me, "We'd love to get Dwight Howard, but we probably don't have enough money." Like that was the thought process.
That was definitely pre-NIL days.
Yes, very, very much so. And what made it even
like
better
20
was
years.
yeah. And what made it even better was he was the director of recruiting. So the guy who was directly responsible for the recruitment of Dwight Howard was sitting there telling me, somebody he had met like 2 weeks prior on email, that they couldn't come up with enough money to get Dwight Howard.
My favorite memory of that camp, so just so everybody knows, Ruston is 7 years older than me, and so he was the assistant coach on the high school basketball team that I was the point guard on. And we were at team camp at Clemson, and so we had our varsity and JV teams there. And my favorite memory of that whole thing was my worst memory was I missed the game-winning three against one of the teams we played. I had a shot with like 1 point something seconds left. The ball went in and out, and I missed the shot, and that's how we lost the game. But the funniest memory, the best memory was, so our JV guys, we barely had enough to field a team. I mean, like, it was that we were scraping the bottom of the barrel to get enough JV guys there to play. And so there was an eighth grader who was, I can't remember if it was an upcoming eighth grader or an upcoming freshman, but it was the first time he had missed all the practices before the camp. And he gets there, we're in the hotel room, and Ruston is drawing up our plays that we run on a spiral bound notebook for the kid. And he's trying to teach the kid, we're supposed to play in like 2 or 3 hours from this. And Ruston is trying his best to teach this kid these plays so we can at least have 5 dudes on the court, And just in the middle of Ruston showing the kid these plays, just the absurdity of the situation dawns on him. And he's sitting there and he just goes, "We're going to get killed." He just stopped what he was doing and just leaned back in his chair. It's like, "We're going to get killed." I mean, like, he could, it was just, you could just see it dawn on him. Like, I can't believe we're sitting here doing this. We're supposed to play in 3 hours, and we're supposed to leave the hotel and be on the court in 3 hours. And I'm trying to teach them how to run the plays right now.
It's like an AAU basketball tournament. Yesterday morning, my 8th grade son's team played, and we have 2 kids who missed the last 3 practices. And so they didn't see any of our inbounds plays. So we're literally, before our first game yesterday, we're on the baseline teaching 2 kids our inbounds plays while the other team warms up on the other end of the court. And so it's like,
nice.
Just in case you weren't sure what we're running, here it is.
Yeah.
This is what we call this one.
Yeah. When we hold up 2 fingers, this is the play we're going to run.
But here's how bad AAU coaches are. We still scored on them. Like, they knew what we were running, they knew what we called them, and we still scored.
Yeah. Hey guys, honor system here. Please look the other way while we install these plays. All right, let's see some of the other comments that came through. Let's see here. Jonathan said, or no, Mississippi all said, great show, everybody. Looking forward to Thursday already. Have a great week. Jonathan said, great show as always. We'll see everybody for Thursday night for 90s night. Yeah, buddy. James said, what's the Thursday night top 5? Great question. It is so we've already done the 80s, so now we're going to do the 90s. Top 5 songs that represent the 1990s. So, I mean, doesn't necessarily have to be the best songs from the 90s, but top 5 songs that best represent 90s music. Let's see. Elijah said, night bros, great show as always. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. Mississippi also, I think Arkansas was swept at home by Florida this weekend. First sweep in Fayetteville since 2016. Wow.
They were.
Let's see.
And that's a Florida team that was struggling.
Yep. Rhonda made a good point. She said, how, Florida will be changing their gym floor if Billy Donovan goes to North Carolina.
Better start looking at Bear Contact Praetors, because that's definitely in the works. Billy Donovan was asked about it tonight, and he gave the standard head coach answer of, right now I'm focused on the job I have. Okay. Sure you are.
Matt said, I'm just going to do my favorite 90s song. Sorry, not sorry. That's cool with me, dude. that's totally cool with me. Elijah said, oh, he's gone. And if that's his answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan said he's doing his favorite 90s songs too. Well, I hope everybody has a great week. We will be live Thursday night. We will be live 9:00 Eastern. We hope you join us. Obviously we won't have any more basketball to talk about, but we'll still have baseball and softball to talk about. Swim and dive is done now for the season 2, apparently. So we won't have any. Hey, shout out again to swim and dive men's and women's teams. Y'all, congratulations, 5th in the country. That's a good finish. So we hope everybody has a great evening. Mississippi Vols said, I did always like Ace of Base. There you go. That's 90s right there for you. That's what I'm talking about. Hope everybody has a great evening. Go Vols, baby. And we will see everybody Thursday night.